Today I want to go over the fastest way to be hitting parallel 5 with both pitchers and hitters in MLB The Show 24. And in previous years of MLB The Show, we needed 10,000 parallel XP to actually hit parallel 5, but this year is different where we only need 8,000, so it's a lot more doable. I know a lot of people complained in the past about it just being too much of a grind, so it is more doable this year, and I actually think it's underrated. It's worth trying to get your cards up to parallel 5. You know, you don't just get a slight boost, let's say to contact. You're literally getting a attribute boost across the board: contact, power, speed, fielding, arm, everything, +5. So I think it's worth doing if you guys have the time. So to start off, I quickly want to go over the fastest way to earn parallel XP with pitchers, just because it is super simple and easy. Then in a minute, we will go over what to do for hitters. So if you guys are just here for hitters, you can skip ahead in the video just a little bit. For pitchers, though, essentially all you got to do is hop into a play versus CPU game, and what you want to do, you can pick any team, a bad team like the A's, you can go ahead and do. I would play on rookie difficulty just because you're going to be getting more strikeouts. More strikeouts just means more parallel XP, and then you can pick just a major league stadium. You don't want to play on a tiny custom stadium, just really any major league stadium you can go ahead and choose. And then you obviously want to choose the pitcher you're trying to parallel up. So for me, Jacob Mizorowski's at P3. I'm trying to get him up, to P4 and to P5. So I'm going to go ahead and choose him for this example. Another reason also that you guys want to be the home team, which I forgot to mention, is that you're going to be pitching at the top of each inning. That is, something that just makes sense to do, I think. But once you are in game, one tip I want to give you guys right off rip here is I would go into your guys' settings, and something that I like to do and what I would recommend is changing the pitching interface to classic. So literally all you're doing is choosing a button, pushing X again, and you're pitching, right? You're just spamming buttons, and you don't have to focus on your pinpoint trying to hit perfects with that. Rather, you're kind of just like, you could be doing something and literally just spamming pitches while you're trying to, just cruise through these innings with your pitcher. Also, as you guys just saw, I intentionally walked the first hitter of the inning, so then basically I can pitch out of the stretch. Now, I think Jacob Mizorowski actually always pitches out of the stretch, so it's kind of, this not a great example of it to show you guys here, but that's what you always want to do when you get into the first batter of each inning. Intentionally walk so you can pitch out of the stretch. It's just going to be, each pitcher will pitch the quickest out of the stretch rather than from the windup. And if you want to parallel the pitcher up as quickly as you possibly can, when you are up to hit, literally all you have to do is bunt through your entire order. Just try to get through those half innings as quickly as you possibly can so you can get on to the next one in the next pitching inning, and then you can, just fly through the game as quickly as possible. And for starting pitchers, you can pitch all 9 innings of the game and actually complete the game. For relief pitchers, though, I would just pitch until your reliever gets really tired, and once he's tired, finish up that inning, and then go ahead and back out and just keep repeating that. But now I want to go over the fastest way to parallel 5 hitters, and to start off, you will want to download a custom stadium if you haven't already, and you can do this if you are on current gen, but if you guys are on older gen, you can instead play at a field like Coors or the minor league stadium Laughing Mountain Park, or any other stadium that has max or close to max elevation, and ideally a small park as well, so you can easily hit home runs. But make sure you guys are downloading stadium, a small park, max elevation, kind of like I just said, and you'll be all set to go. Max elevation, as you guys can see on the screen, is 5,276 feet of elevation. So pick one that has small walls like this one right here, and that has this max elevation. Now, when you guys are creating your lineup for your team, you always want to make sure you're putting the player that you're trying to parallel up in the leadoff spot, and if you have any other players you're trying to parallel up, you can, just put them in the spots right behind that leadoff guy. Otherwise, the rest of your lineup really doesn't matter too much unless you need, PXP for players from other programs. Then you can go ahead and put those players, filling out the rest of your lineup. And this method for hitters will once again, similar to the pitchers, be in play versus CPU. I would do rookie difficulty. Any difficulty is fine, but the lower the difficulty, the more extra base hits, home runs, you'll likely hit. Also, be the home team. Yes, choose the home team. You're going to pitch the top of the first inning, but this is the only way to actually choose a custom stadium that you just downloaded will be as the home team. So in the long run, it's going to be worth it because, you're going to hit so many more home runs on this tiny custom stadium with max elevation versus, any other ballpark that you might play in. So I'll tab over to my custom stadiums and choose the Sandlot, which I sometimes use. Short walls, max elevation, so a really good option right here. Also, you want to make sure to choose, your fifth starting pitcher, just because you also will get matched up against the other team's fifth and lowest overall starting pitcher. If that fifth starter, though, is a righty, and let's say you want to face a bad lefty starting pitcher, you also could try facing that other team's fourth best starting pitcher, see if that's a lefty or choose a different team. Basically, just play around until you find a bad lefty starting pitcher to go against. So then you'll go ahead and load into the game, and let's just say in this example, you're trying to parallel up the first two hitters in your lineup. Here's the most important thing that all of you have to know, though. You want to try to get hits with everyone, in your lineup, not just the first two hitters, because you need to hit with at least 8 batters for you to be able to quit out and have the PXP count. So basically, the quicker you guys get through hitting with your lineup, the quicker you'll get the players you're trying to P5 back up to the plate. And essentially, your goal is to hit twice with the players that you're trying to P5 and then immediately quit out after so that, you can get that second at-bat in with your parallel players, then immediately, start up that new game, be able to lead off with those players right away, in another game, and just repeat that process. And I hope that last part was clear, but basically what you're doing is getting that second at-bat in with the player you're trying to P5, immediately quitting out after that at-bat, and then restarting the game, so you can go to bat once again with that player that you're leading off with. Now, if you guys, let's say you're hitting 2 home runs in your game with your 2 at-bats with that player you're trying to P5, each game, if you do this, you would get 80 PXP. Now, it could be more if you get more RBIs, obviously, with your second home run, or, it could be less, for, obviously, right? If you're, not hitting home runs or whatever it might be. But that's just, I thought I would mention that just because that is kind of a good feel for how much PXP you could be getting. So yeah, you're basically just going to repeat this process of play versus CPU games, whether you're doing this for your pitchers or hitters for grinding PXP. And this is probably the quickest way to parallel your players in MLB The Show 24. And if you guys have anything else to add, maybe I left out some minor details somewhere along in the video, go ahead and drop those down in the comments below to help out other people. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for the video. I appreciate all of you guys for sticking around to the end of this one. See you guys next time. Peace out.